Good morning, friends. John McCrae, 1872 to 1918. In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, to be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. Isaac Rosenberg, 1890 to 1918. Break of day in the trenches. The darkness crumbles away. It is the same old druid time as ever, only a live thing leaps my hand, a queer sardonic rat. As I pull the parapet's poppy to stick behind my ear, droll rat. They should shoot you if they knew your cosmopolitan sympathies. Now you have touched this English hand, you will do the same to a German soon, no doubt, if it be your pleasure to cross the sleeping green between. It seems you inwardly grin as you pass. Strong eyes, fine limbs, haughty athletes, less chance than you for life. Bonds to the whims of murder, sprawled in the bowels of the earth. The torn fields of France, what do you see in our eyes at the shrieking iron and flame hurled through still heavens? What quaver, what heart aghast? Poppies, whose roots are in man's veins, drop, and are ever dropping, but mine in my ear is safe, just a little white with the dust. Louse hunting. Nudes, stark and glistening, yelling in lurid glee, grinning faces and raging limbs, whirl over the floor one fire. For his shirt verminously busy, yon soldier tore from his throat with oaths Godhead might shrink at, but not the lice, and soon the shirt was aflare. Over the candle he'd lit while we lay. Then we all sprang up and stripped to hunt the verminous brood. Soon, like a demon's pantomime, the place was raging. See the silhouettes agape, see the gibbering shadows mixed with the battled arms on the wall. See gargantuan hooked fingers pluck in supreme flesh, to smutch supreme littleness. See the merry limbs in hot Highland fling, because some wizard vermin charmed from the quiet this revel, when our ears were half lulled by the dark music blown from sleep's trumpet. Returning we hear the larks. Sombre the night is, and thought we have our lives, we know what sinister threat lurks there, dragging these anguished limbs. We only know this poison-blasted track opens on our camp, on a little safe sleep. But hark, joy, joy, strange joy. Lo, heights of night ringing with unseen larks, music showering on our upturned listening faces. Death could drop from the dark as easily as song, but song only dropped, like a blind man's dream on the sand by dangerous tides, like a girl's dark hair for her dreams. No ruin lies there, or her kisses where a serpent hides. Dead man's dump. The plunging limbers over the shattered track, racketed with their rusty freight, stuck out like many crowns of thorns, and the rusty stakes like scepters old, to stay the flood of brutish men upon our brothers dear. The wheels lurched over sprawled dead, but pained them not, though their bones crunched. Their shut mouths made no moan. They lie there huddled, friend and foeman, man born of man and born of woman, and shells go crying over them from night till night. And now earth has waited for them all the time of their growth, fretting for their decay. Now she has them at last, in the strength of their strength suspended, stopped and held. What fierce imaginings their dark souls lit. Earth? Have they gone on into you? Somewhere they must have gone, and flung on your hard back as their souls sack, emptied by God's ancestral essences. Who hurled them out? Who hurled? None saw their spirit shadows shake the grass, or stood aside for the half-used life to pass out of those doomed nostrils in the doomed mouth, when the swift iron burning bee drained the wild honey of their youth. What of us who, flung on the shrieking pyre, walk our usual thoughts untouched, our lucky limbs as an ichor fed, immortal seeming ever? Perhaps when the flames beat loud on us, a fear may choke in our veins, and the startled blood may stop. The air is loud with death. The dark air spurts with fire. The explosions ceaseless are, timelessly now. Some minutes passed. These dead strode time with vigorous life, till the shrapnel called an end, but not to all. In bleeding pangs, some borne on stretchers dreamed of home. Dear things were blotted from their hearts. A man's brains splattered on a stretcher-bearer's face. His shook shoulders slipped their load, but when they bent to look again, the drowning soul was sunk too deep for human tenderness. They left this dead with the older dead, stretched at the crossroads. Burnt black by strange decay, their sinister faces lie, the lid over each eye, the grass and colored clay, more motion have than they, joined to the great sunk silences. Here is one not long dead. His dark hearing caught our far wheels, and the choked soul stretched weak hands to reach the living word the far wheels said. The blood-dazed intelligence beating for light, crying through the suspense of the far torturing wheels, swift for the end to break, or the wheels to break, cried as the tide of the world broke over his sight. Will they come? Will they ever come? Even as the mixed hoofs of the mules, the quivering bellied mules, and the rushing wheels all mixed with his tortured, upturned sight. So we crashed round the bend, we heard his weak scream, we heard his very last sound, and our wheels grazed his dead face. Have a good day, friends.